doing something with that wall. It seems like an oxymoron to me. It would seem you'd be protective of the wall and not want to have openings. And we've beaten up businesses constantly over walls, and here's our historic commission saying, yeah, let's change the wall to get into an opening, when if you move the picnic area into this area and make it picnic-like, park-like, tables and whatever, and not clear-cut, you won't have kids jumping over, and everyone will enter through the existing opening.
Yeah, I think one of the things, at least, I mean, as one commissioner, is preserving this, because it's one of the reasons that I think the commission pulls that wall near and dear. I know it was drilled into me by Maryland.
Well, what I'm saying is it's a wall in a historic zone.
Yeah.
So doing something with it seems to be counterproductive to what we've been telling all these businesses and all these other people.
Very good point, Mike.
Let me comment on the stone wall for a minute. Nobody has in the Heritage Commission, I don't think, has proposed making any major changes to the wall. I personally agree with Mike that we should leave it alone. And we could do one thing that they do in England, and that is to build steps over the wall. Now that's, you know, they usually, if they've been in the English countryside, you're likely to see stone steps on either side of a stone wall, so the people can cross the wall, but the cattle can't. And so that may not be a New England tradition, but it's one way.
So that might work, might be a you know, if we're going to compromise on things, but it would be one way to look at it.
Deb,
yes.
is in art, I guess, is there a possibility that they can come in and mark the trees that need to be cut, and then there can be an assessment made of how much of an expansion of area to clear, or whether or not it's even necessary to clear? I mean, if you come through and you tag 15 or 20 trees kind of in the general area of where we're standing, more to the back here, so that you are using that access to get to the picnic area, it might be better for people to visualize it. I mean, when and you know exactly what you said, if you're more that way, I see nothing but damage happening to the wall if there's not an opening. Now, Mike's point's exactly correct. We should be protecting the wall, but if everything is up there or from here forward, people are going to jump that way.
Yeah, but if you keep it
away, back in this direction,
I think there's a greater degree of protecting that wall. But I don't know how much of an extra effort it is for Charlie to tag trees.
Well, he will tag. That's part of the job, but we wouldn't want him to do it. We want to pay him to do it, and have you decide you're not going to do it. So, you know, so you'd have to be ready to do a thinning cut, a selective cut in this town forest, and then the extra, you know, he would be marking those no matter what. So it's not a big deal.
So I think the Heritage Commission will have to look at, do they want a picnic area? If so, where and what size? You know, what buffer do you want from the stone wall and Mammoth Road? It's 50 feet, 100 feet.
Along the cemetery.
Yeah. And if you make it a big enough buffer, we won't be cutting any trees down. You know, we'll be back to where we're standing today.
Yeah. That's, I think, one is the buffer, two is the protection of the stone wall, three is the location of the picnic area, four would be the size of the picnic area.
And are you doing the addition for Old Home Day? And that's the. Is that? Yeah, so it sounds like, yeah.
Hey, I'm not having heartburn. I mean, 9 years on the council, I had people telling me we need a picnic area. If the Heritage Commission says no picnic area, I'll still sleep at night.
I don't even think for me that's not even a question.
Disagreement on the forest management part of it, which was, you know, the extent of working with the
So then we're going to
not a forest. These are a bunch of stick trees right now. A forest has growth on the bottom. I see nothing.
Yeah.
Nothing.
Well, that's partly because it's a pine forest. It probably was an old field, and it's, you know, it's successional. No.
When you're looking at roughly 15 acres, of which Charlie's proposal was a quarter of acre or more. So in the total scheme, we're not.
But if we do a forestry project, we're going to have to accept the fact that we do have to build a logging road into the property, and it's going to be what it's going to have to be to make it happen. It's you know, that'll grow up, that'll open up. The flower the wildflowers and things, the seeds will blow in and they'll grow. They'll start to grow. So.
But I think we need to warn people, give people enough warning ahead of time that, it's not going to be pretty the first season, but we're thinking 3, 4, 5 years down the road, it's going to be beautiful. So.
And Deb's right. You look at Kendall Pond, and 3 years later,
right.
They
snap a
hard
picture.
to-
They fixed it. They fixed a logging road in my favorite hike in the White Mountains, and I was just, I can't believe they did this. It's so horrible, and it's fabulous now. It's just great. Everything's growing back. That doesn't,
I
it's
think
still a safety road, but it's beautiful.
the notion of a multi-purpose area is one that the commission's got to decide, now or never. Because if we don't do it now, there's not going to be money.
I think looking at the intent of the town of London's back in the middle 80s, really, trying to preserve at least some of, what a forest looks like. But be able to utilize it for, some other activities also. And I'm sure times are going to change, and people might want to, convert it into, who knows what.
I just think, Brian mentioned the art show. We've got Old Home Day. There's been a clamoring for an ice rink for 20 plus years. If we could do it all in one location and complement the common for expanded use for whether it's art shows or Old Home Day or whatever, it's really now or never.
Kathy, is there really pressure to expand Old Home Days?
No, well, we could use the space. We have been turning away more and more nonprofits, our own local nonprofits, because we only have 65 booth space, or 67 now. We've crammed them in. There has been talk, Kids Night is overwhelmed. We're going to have to think about looking for a new location if it continues to grow, but we really love the fact of the history and the fact that this is the town common. I guess my biggest thing is you picture a town common, and I think part of the reason why the suggestion was made that the ice skating rink was built in the trees was it would be a natural assistance to keeping the ice on the rink. Now, we're not looking for an Olympic skating rink. I don't think Bob was ever looking for an Olympic skating. He was just looking for a place to go, and I know that it would be nice to have a place to go in the wintertime. Besides, we don't have, other than the cross-country ski trails, which were used phenomenally this year because of the snow, we have nothing to do in the winter here. And an ice skating rink would be a nice thing. And I don't want it to become a giant ice skating rink, because then we'll encourage people to come from other towns and use our area. I guess my biggest concern in this whole project is who's gonna be the trash police and all of that stuff once